I once shoved a guy so hard that his head dented a locker.
And I ruined a 4-year relationship in the most cowardly, undignified way.
Alcohol mixed with a little bit of pride was and still is.
I don't get angry. I get even.
That thing that our parents did while we spent our days watching Divorce Court and eating fruit roll-ups and never imagining that we'd have to do it too. What a shock it has been. So for tonight, we have gathered the finest writers and comedians in the tri-state region, and we asked them to share their stories of being on the job. We placed no limits on what they could write, so long as it was true, and so long as it fostered better labor relations. Just be grateful that you've never worked with these people. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Gether.
When I was 19 years old, I got hired to be an assistant editor at a cult magazine called Weird New Jersey. My job is to help put together a biannual journal that looks at all the strange things about New Jersey. Things like there's an entire town of tiny houses where the rumor is only midgets live there. I've been paid. Part of my job, I have snuck into a dozen abandoned mental asylums as part of my professional career. I once was paid to go to a graveyard to try to photograph the ghost of a mentally retarded girl. Part of my job.
Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Tamanek.
There are two tracks that people go on in life. One is the corporate monkey track, and one's the restaurant monkey track. So I got hired finally through a friend of mine at a restaurant called John's Pizzeria. So there were these two cops, Paul and Donnie. And Paul and Donnie were the block cops on 44th Street, kind of protect all the musical theater people. So this particular day, Paul and Donnie were sitting at lunch with us, and we went upstairs, and Pete says, "Oh, arrest them, arrest them, arrest them," which I don't know why that's a funny joke, but it was. And Paul and Donnie are like, "Come over here," and I'm like, "Oh, that's funny, guys, you know, stop, stop." And they're like, "Come on, let's just put the cuffs on him, let's just put the cuffs on him." So they cuffed me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is fun, this is fine. You know, all right, let me go." And Paul says, "Well, why don't we show them how we interrogate people?" So I had this kind of moment of like, wait a minute, I'm handcuffed now. And I have my hands behind my back, so I mean, I'm prostrate, I'm screwed. I don't have any way to get out of this situation. And they throw me down in a chair. And everyone's laughing. Yeah, isn't this funny? We're going to pretend to interrogate Anthony. The looks on everyone's face at this point were kind of like, okay, but like a little panic now, right? So Paul, showing off, took the phone book and put it up against my head. And then I saw everyone's eyes kind of go like this. As I realized that he held a gun up to the phone book and at my head, so he could show how they use a silencer when they don't have one. Yeah. This isn't a funny story.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Flynn.
Near the end of a disastrous freshman year in college, I kind of want to take a break from life. So I'm talking to my older sister about this, and she says, "You know what you should do? You should take next year off from school and travel with me. I'm moving to Taiwan to teach English." And I explained that, unlike her, I don't speak a word of Chinese. And she says, "They don't care. Most people just want to listen to you speak so they can pick up your accent. And if you're the first teacher they have, you get to give them their American name. They love that shit." At the end of that summer, at the tender age of 19, my sister and I moved to Taiwan, the land where everything is made. So we got ourselves an apartment that we share with two other foreigners, Barbara, who's from Canada, and Avril, who's from Ireland. And they're nice enough to get us jobs at this place where they work, which is a small nightclub in the center of town called the Judy Club. And every so often I get hired to practice English with someone, and my sister was right. They really just want to sit and listen to you talk so they can make sure that they sound like a very authentic English speaker. So if in your travels any of you happen to run into a Taiwanese businessman with slightly effeminate mannerisms and who happens to know a lot about the musical chorus line, all I can say to you is, you're welcome. And it's not long before I'm also getting sleazy offers from the customers. One night, a man offers to pay me $500 to have sex with his wife with my big American penis. While he watches us. Since his wife looks like Kim Jong-il with a tacky rhinestone brooch, I pass.
Ladies and gentlemen, the indomitable Curtis Gwynn.
Work. And as a child, I grew up very poor, and you'd think that would instill some sort of ethic in you, like, well, you work hard. But my father hated work, and he was poor, and I fucking hate work. And every man in my family hates work, so ladies, don't think you're getting anything from me, okay? I never graduated college either, so don't think we're gonna have good conversations. And I realized I didn't want to do this. I was like, I just want to be in comedy. I just want to write. I just want to be, you know, doing comedy so bad, but I'm afraid to quit. Because I just don't know. I was just like letting fate kind of judge what would happen. So I'd come to work, and I'd always come in late, and I'd come to my cubicle, and I'd sit down, and then I would just like do no work all day long. And all day long they'd bring me work, and I would just leave it sitting on my desk. And at the end of the day they'd be like, you didn't do any work? And I'd be like, no, I didn't do any of it. And they'd be like, well, tomorrow you better do it. They had a company party coming up. It was near Christmas. It was a holiday party. I was like, I'm gonna fucking destroy this party. Shut up. I got obliterated. Before I was even there, I was already like at my house, like drinking shots of Baileys. And I was like, all right, wear a shirt with like the buttons down, with my shirt open, and like a leather jacket, really tight jeans, and like pointy boots. And I was like, all right, they've never seen this side of me before. So that's all I can think. So I got really drunk, and my client reps were there, the people from the toy company, these two women, and I just hit on them so fucking hard. I was just like, oh, I wouldn't even call hitting on. I was just making inappropriate advances. And at one point, I remember, and one of the women was like kind of into it. They were like late 40-somethings, and I was like in my 20s, like, yeah, all right. Got so drunk, and this one woman from the company was like, had her arm around me and stuff, and we were almost making out, but not quite. But I was so drunk that I couldn't control. I had a boner, like a huge boner, like sticking up through my pants. And I went out of that party, and I charged into the street, and I was like, they're gonna fucking kill me tomorrow. So I came into work really fucked up and like shaking and so hungover the next day. I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And they were like, and Jerry sent me an email. I get an email first thing. He's like, wild party man. Thanks a lot, everybody.